Good afternoon everybody, and how are you? My name's Iris Smith and I'm the owner of a small business called The Flower Patch, where I make beautiful artificial flower arrangements for all occasions. Well, I hope you're all doing well, guys, and you're having a fabulous day. Today I'm going to be doing a swag. I've had a request if I could do a summer swag, and they've asked if I have any gems and if I could do it in pink. I do have some gems, as you can see. I've already attached it. I've got them in several colours. I got them from a company called Ruscus Creations, which is now closed down, so I can't get none from them anymore. So I've got a box full, so that should last me for a little bit until I get some more in, just, you know, for when it comes to autumn, you know, Christmas time and things like that. But I've got a pink one. I've got quite a few pink ones. It's a rectangular one about 9 inches high, and I've placed that in the center. And I've also done a bow where I've got cerise pink and the vintage, oh gosh, I forgot what it's called. Here I go again. A vintage floral one, which I tend to say it looks a bit like a cottage theme, but you know, it is just named vintage floral ribbon. So I want to be placing that at the top with the tail ends either side of our jewel. So again, with our jewel, all I've done is place a bit of ribbon on the back, stuck it to the back and placed in a floral wire through it and attached it around the back of the swag. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do, what florals and foliage that I've chosen. So I've chosen some fern where it's got pink on the tips. I've had to, sorry, before I carry on, I've had to move the camera back, guys, so you can get the full view of the swag, because I wanted to do it standing up, because concerning swags, I find them easier to do standing. So it may look today slightly further away. Well, it is. Anyway, so I've got our fern with the pink tips. I've already cut some things down. Others, I'm not sure how long I'm going to need them. So we've got that. Now I've got some UV protected Ruscus. I haven't, and these are bushes, I haven't cut any down. I don't know why I brought 4 stems out. I'm not going to need all this, but you get quite long sprigs on them. So I thought, let's get some of that in. So they are really, you know, they are plastic, but they are UV protected. I've also cut down in some Ruscus again in the bigger leaf, perhaps to use as our background foliage as well, with the fern. I just want these smaller Ruscus, you know, just to perhaps dot around. Who knows, we'll see as we go along. So I've got out some of our bigger leaf Ruscus. That's coming out. I have just cut a few of the bunch, some of our flowering lotus heads, perhaps to dot around again, maybe around the side or on the inside. I'm not quite sure. Again, this one, I'm going to wing it today, so to speak. Now I have cut down some, I found some oddments in my, or leftovers in my bucket of silver dollar eucalyptus. So I may incorporate these, I'm not sure yet, but I've got them out just in case. So that's all the foliage. For the floral, oh sorry, and I've got, I don't know why they're in there. I've got some leftovers here of some berries, white berries, and a few sage leaves as well, what was in the bucket also. So I grab those out. It's best, I think, to get, you know, when you've got leftovers, to try and incorporate them if you're doing a design, and they will go with the design. So I try to incorporate those so I don't waste them. I've got out, oh, you guessed it, they're in it today, my lovely little mini calla lilies. One of my favourites for movement, and these are also UV protected. I did an arrangement on my garden to in a wall basket a couple of years ago, and I did it in yellow, and they are still yellow. They haven't faded, nothing. So occasionally I do just spray some UV protector over it again, even though it doesn't need it, but I just give it an extra bit of protection, perhaps once a year, but they haven't faded, so they're really good. I've got out and I've placed these on picks. I've cut them off the big bunch, so I've placed them on picks. Some of our germinis, and the reason they call them germinis is because they're smaller than the big ones. So mini meaning smaller, as we all know. So that we have white germinis. I've also got out one of my favourites, pink ranunculus. Now I want to add these in on the top or on the front of the swag. Oh, I just love these. Can you see I'm wearing pink today? So these will go fabulous. I'll blend in lovely. So we've got some germini, ranunculus. I've also got out some, now I haven't done anything with these. I've just got these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there should have been 12. I may have used one. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, 10. 10 stems of roses of now some people tend to call them an ombre rose because they've got 2 different colours in. Some people call them a vintage. I just call them a rose. Just a rose, because you know they're just pink and they're like a milky white. So we've got those as well. I don't think I'll use all of them. I've placed from these I get on a bush. They are oh, that one looks a bit oddly shaped. These are little what did they call them? They're not astilbe. Some people would look at them like they're astilbe. They could be like heather, something like that. I can't quite remember, guys, but I've placed these on single picks because I've taken them off of the big bush that I have these on. So we've got that for a bit of rough texture, and I've got some leftovers in here as well as the full stem of my Queen Anne's lace. Now this, I was, as much as I adore it, I was unsure whether I'm going to place it in. So that is a backup. So that is what we've got to work with today. So I'm going to, with my swags, because they move around, I'm going to get just from the back 2 of my spruces, twist them around to keep this in place. Let's see if it's moving anywhere else. Yeah, around here, and I'll do the same up here. I just twist it a couple of times and then just bring them down, and that's just to keep my swag in place as I'm working. Let me just straight. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with our Ruscus, and we're going to use this as our backdrop foliage. I just love this. I love the movement of it. Now for the new beginners, I have a lovely lady. She says she watches virtually every night. I hope she doesn't mind me mentioning her name. She was messaging me this morning. Her name is Liz. So hi Liz, wonderful job for your first attempt on the wreath. Fabulous. Be proud of yourself. So for new beginners like that who've not done a swag and they've only just, you know, just done wreaths and, you know, want to venture into doing swags, then I tend to go about it and try to simplify the placement of them to make it easier to understand instead of filling your heads with the correct wording and everything that I was taught when I did many years ago, started in real flowers. And my tutor, again many years ago, gave me the advice to look at a swag like it's a part of your body, the upper part. So your shoulders, in the center here, your neck, the widest point is your shoulders, the central point here where the gem is your rib cage, you know, from about here to here, and right at the bottom is your waistline. So think of it like that. So you always place one where the neck is. So we'll start and we'll place one and attach it to the main spine at the back, because that will give it more support and it will attach to something and it will hold better. Now you can further along the line attach it to other stems and things like that as you go along. Then get another stem and place it where your shoulders are. So let's grab another one and again stick it to the main spine at the back like so. So you've got this is your widest point of your swag. And then do that on the opposite side. Keep finding the odd one without a leaf on. And do that on the opposite side to where you've just gone. Again, positioning it right opposite on the main stem. So now you've got your neck and your widest point, which is your shoulders. If that makes sense and makes it much easier to understand. I keep seeing little bits without any leaves on. Don't know why. It's got 2. That's got 3. That can be at the bottom. So now we are going to move to our rib cage. And instead of going horizontal, place your stem at a slight angle. And again, go towards the back of the main stem or the spine of the swag and attach it there. So go at an angle. So then with it being at an angle, it starts to come in like that. And what you've done that side, and again repeat it in a similar position. Again, I'll show you this way. I'm going up, taking it up, but taking it to the back of our main spine. You've got a gap here and here, but I've left those purposely because I have other foliage. And now you're going a bit further down where the waistline is. Again, now you need to go up at more of a vertical angle with a slight, you know, little tilt or angle on it, not in, you know, directly vertical, just, you know, slightly vertical, more like that again. So you're bringing your foliage inwards to the bottom, if that makes sense, guys. And again, I'll show you this side. Instead of going in like we did with that one, like that, I'm now taking it further up like that, but putting a small angle on it to sit again on the main spine at the back. So like that. Let me just move that spruce out of the way. Let me do that again, guys. That spruce is in the way. And let me stick this on. Where did it come from? Oops, a daisy. So let's do it again. That is a higher angle. So like more like a 22-degree angle, and place it to the spine. So then you have it like so. And then right at the bottom of your waistline, you place one, just one, where it's got a nice point on it. Because you're trying to create like a teardrop shape. So then you just go now with this one, vertical, directly vertical on the main spine. So now you can see the widest point here, then it goes in to the point. So that's how you place in your foliage, your boundary to start off with. So then now you can see that point. So I want to place in our fern. Excuse me. Now, and this is very much the same, how you position it. I've got some bigger than others, so let's just go through them. I'm going to take a couple of leaves off. If you feel that you don't need it as long, just pull the leaves off at the bottom. Now I'm going to do the same with these, but with this, because I want to see the ruscus, I'm going to place it at the back, and that's got a point on it as well, so that will define the shape of the neck. So we'll go to the back of the ruscus. We're going to attach it, let me just make sure, to the spine. Again, I don't want it too much, you know, too tall. It looks a bit offset, guys. It's because I've got the hook there, and I don't want the hook in the way. So there is your point for that. So then I'm going to use, let's just measure some here in between. Now I'm going with these in between the neck and the shoulders, so I will place that here. There's the one I placed in to start with, the neck. These are the shoulders, so I'm going in between there. Don't worry if your ruscus is like this, is come down, or is you're going to be having things in front what will push that back into place. Now again, attach this to the main spine like so. So that is gone in between your shoulders and neck. And do that the opposite side as well, going in between the neck and the shoulders at the top, like so. So if you can see, that's also defining your shape, and then you will start to go in between here, the shoulders and the rib cage, with your next one to bring that coming down. So let me just pull off. In fact, I'll use those. I've got a long. So I'm going to do the same with these. In between where I said we had a gap here. And again, I'm going at an angle. And I'm going towards the spine. Like that, and you can manipulate those to look like they're starting to bend over and come down. And do the same with this one. Just sort of like manipulate it slightly to make it look like it's coming down. Now on this one again, we're going to bring it more at a diagonal angle as we place it in. Not a horizontal, just at like a 45-degree angle, bringing that in, and just bend it slightly, because we don't want it sticking out further than the one above, because we are trying to stagger them in size. And then we'll do that again here, in between. Again, I'm going in between where I placed all of the ruscus, and bring it down. As you can see, and then because we've got that one at the bottom, I'm going to bring these to either side of the ruscus at the bottom of our swag, and I'm going at a more of a little angle on it, but not much, but more of a vertical position. And then if I just slide that one up as well. So we've got it like so. If you want to just have a look, and then bring some of your foliage forward so it's mixing in with the rest of your arrangement. So that's what it looks like at the moment. Let's see if I need any of these leftovers. Again, I tend to add more than one unless a customer, specifically requires just one foliage. I may add just a few of these. I don't want to overload. Let's take the band off. I've got some that are smaller than the others. It's a bit similar. And what I'm going to do with these is perhaps, if I just have a look, I may not need them. I don't think I like the look of that there. Always check though before you do place them in if you like where they are positioned. I'm just seeing if they look okay. Or if they, no, I don't like the looks of those guys. So I'm not going to use these. If I do decide to use them, it will be just chopping them up. So we'll use the, have a look at the smaller Ruscus. So I'll put them back in my, oops, I forgot a couple, back in my leftover bucket. So let's get one of these out. So 1, 2, 3, you get 5. So 5 sprigs like that. So they've got quite a bit of movement. So before I decide on those, yeah, we're going to cut all 5 off. Oh, my arm's much better today, guys. That injection's really done me good. That pain I had yesterday where it was a bit stiff, it's gone. How grand. Right. I may use another one of these. So with these, as you can see where the fern is, here. I know we've got the Ruscus here, but with this being longer, I want to incorporate maybe some of this, with it being smaller leaf as well, within, you know, with the fern. I mean, I will push them down a little bit. I just wish to show you. Let me cut that off. And again, you can manipulate these ones. So just, I guess, behind, I just place it in behind the fern. Yeah, I'm going to need another one. Somewhere around there. Let's just grab them. So I want 3 more. Do I? 1, 2. So we'll just do this one in there. And we'll see. So again, around and behind the fern. Again, just try it out first. If you're not happy, then just, you know, take it out and don't put it in. I always say, if in doubt, take it out. And if you've already placed it in and you're still in doubt, pull it out. I'll make that one shorter because that's what our longest point. And I bring it, I can't see. Somewhere down there. Yeah, I'm going to do that, so I don't need no more of that. So let's start from the top again, just at the side of our neck. And we will manipulate this and shape it. Again, I'm attaching it to the main spine. So I'm making it so it's just slightly starting to bend. Because I don't want them as long as all the others. I want to keep within that shape as well. Again, always remember how to position it, you know, the angle going at a slant or, you know, a slight diagonal position. The lower you get down to the bottom of the swag, the more of an angle you need. So now we're going down to our waistline. So we're going to be placing it more of a 45-degree angle. Some people may think it looks quite busy, but once you've got your floral and everything in, let's just see. Can't remember where I placed it. And then, oh, it's here, it's dropped. Yeah, once you've placed in your floral, you will see that it's mainly what we're creating at the moment is our backdrop. So now I'm going to go more of a 22-degree angle. But I'm going to go shorter than the bigger leaf Ruscus, because again the bigger leaf Ruscus is our main point, and you don't want anything going longer than what that is, otherwise then you lose the shape of your teardrop. That wants to go a little bit further up. Let me take it out. Cut the stem a little bit shorter. So there is our shape that we've created for our teardrop, and as you can see, the neck is thin, then you're bringing it out down like a slight curve, like you would on your shoulders, a little curve, so to the shoulders. Then you start where the shoulders are, you are the widest point, then you start to bring in your foliage at an angle, coming down till you've got to the bottom where you've got just one piece of foliage just dangling at the bottom, because that is your main point. Right, I'm wanting to place in my bow so then I can work now around, and what I want to do is bring our bow to the top, so that will also push back any foliage that is perhaps leaning forward. Not leaning forward because you've placed it wrong, leaning forward because it is quite a floppy foliage. So I'm going to place it, have a look where I'd like it. There. So all I'm going to do with the wire is take it round the back of our spruce. I had to think what it was called. I've got to find it now. So I want it around there. So let me just grab the other wire. There we have it. And then I'm going to just twist it like you would if you was twisting something at the back of a wreath. Before I carry on, there. So now I'm happy with the position. I will twist it. And with the excess, after I'll twist it all the way to the end, and with the excess of the wire, I will thread it back in and around the main stem, so it doesn't scratch on anybody's door. So that is where we've got our ribbon. Just put that in the correct position. So I'm just fluffing it up. So now our ribbon is in, and that is where I'd like it to be placed above our gem, looking pretty. So I'm going to place these on here so now I'm going to place in our roses. And with the roses, again, I want one at the top of the neck. Let me just see if you can see, because my phone looks like it's pointing downwards. So I want one just above our bow. So these you can twist off and pull off. I'm going to place them on a pick because I don't need the thickness of the stem. So there it's on a pick. So now with that, I'm going to place up above. And with the positioning of the wire or the stem, I'm going vertical but straight down. Again, on the spine, I want it just slightly leaning the flower head forward. Let's just make sure that's positioned correctly. So I want that sitting like so. So I'm going to pull all what I need off and save these guys, because if you ever have any, you buy any rose heads, you can use these and glue them into it. So I do save them, and then it saves on buying, you know, paying a lot of money and getting some new stems. So I'm just going to just get my other to help me push it in a little bit. There we go. So now with the others, I want those here because I'm forming a triangle. These are on the shoulders. So I'm going to go just under the bow. And I want to just make sure, if you feel that it is not staying in the position you'd like it, just wrap a bit of it around the spruce. And the spruce will hold it in place. So let's have a look. Now that's drooping a little bit. So I'll lift the head a little bit better. And I'll just place this one in the opposite side. And I'm going to put a little bit of a spruce around this one. So now you've got that triangle, your neck and your shoulders. So just pull that one off. You don't have to pull them off, the heads off of the stem. If you want to use that stem, that's fine. So with these, I'm coming down. Now I'm going to our rib cage. So I want to bring this at the side of the gem, but with these ones, I'm not going to stick them out horizontal. I'm going to do what I did with the foliage. And I'm going to place them at an angle. So they look like now they are starting to come in. As you can see, the shoulders is wider than this part. So you're staggering them in to the point at the bottom. if that makes sense, guys. If you know, I do like to slightly simplify it, because you know, not everybody, you know, finds it easy to understand. I never, so I was one of them. I find it hard when I very first started. Let me pull that off. And if you have trouble with your hands, try and get some flat nose pliers, which will help you, you know, to push them in. So again, I'm going to go opposite with this one, and again place it in. As you can see, I'm doing it at an angle, like a 45-degree angle, and I'm placing it here. It's not as wide as that one on the shoulders. I don't know what they are. We'll take it out. Push that in, we'll glue that in. If that came out there, it's got to go in. So I'm just wiping the glue off from underneath. We don't want to see dry blobs of glue. And then I'm just using one more, because obviously these are quite big. So I want to use that as our point. Again, there's the neck, one at the neck and one at the bottom of the waist. Excuse me. I hope that makes sense, guys, and it's easy to understand. I don't really, you know, I don't wish to confuse anybody. So I'm going to place that one there. Now, sometimes you may have to wait till the glue's dried. I mean, my glue dries quite quickly, but you may have to hold it with it being, you know, upside down. The weight is at the bottom, so it may start to slide. Or again, get a spruce and wrap the spruce around it so the spruce will hold it and support it. So I don't need those. Right, our germinis, we need germinis. And again, as soon as you start adding white, I always say, and I'm a true believer of it, guys, as soon as you start adding white, then you will start to see it come alive a bit more than what it has or is at the moment. So, our white germinis. Now, again, we're going to be bringing these slightly in. I'm not bringing them out, and the reason I'm not bringing them out is because I've got these that will come on the outside, the mini calla lilies. So I want to see the floral heads on the top. So now I'm going to bring these on the top. So let's just take the band off of these. So let me just have a look. I've got a bit of glue on there. I'll wait. Now I'm going to go in between the roses. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9. So I'm going to go up here. I want to bring these alive, so I want to bring white in and give it that really pretty feel. So I'm only going to cut a tiny bit off of the stem because I need, again, it to be on the shoulders where it's the wider point. So we'll bend it slightly in. Let me just have a look. Just place that one. Now these you can place in horizontal. I'm just putting a bit of spruce around that to hold that. That one's a little bit short. I think I cut that a bit too short. So I'm going to pull that one out. Take the glue off. And use one what I haven't cut. And I'm just going to get a little bit of the spruce, wrap it around the stem, just so then that will stay in position. I'm going to bend the head slightly forward, not too much. Now I just want to see, oops a daisy, whether to put one above. I'm going to place one above at the neck because it just looks odd not having one there, so I'm going to create that triangle on the neck and the shoulders. So I would just do this and then turn it around, but this one is going to be slightly higher than the rose. It doesn't matter if you have a smaller flower head above a bigger flower head. So as you can see, I've created that triangle. So now I'm coming down. I'm going to bring this again in between those roses, but I'm taking into consideration that one is wider than that, so then I have to go basically in between. So I don't want that one going too far in because that would look odd, and I don't want it going too far out. I want it similar but enough to see it's being staggered going down. Again, if that makes sense. Let me attach. So as you can see, this rose is further out, then that one's down, and then that one is further, just slightly further in than this germini. Then I'll do the same of that on the opposite side. So that comes like that. So then again, I'm going to do the same principle here with these. This needs to be staggered so it's not sticking out like that. Again, now you need to be placing it at like a 22 degree so it goes up again to show that teardrop shape. don't want it sticking too far out, further than that. I want it approximately there. Let me do that on the opposite side. Move that spruce out of the way, like so, and then I've got one more left, which will be going slightly longer than this rose here, like I did at the top. And this one I'm positioning vertical. And I don't want it too long because I want the foliage to be the longest part. I will just have a look if that is sitting central. If it's not, just manipulate it. And slightly lift the head so you can see it. So that is now your geminis. So we've got our ranunculus that I want to be placing around in here. So before we do that, let's get our wispy bits. I've cut a few, but then brought another bunch. Oh, is that? So now with our wispy bits, we're going to bring in between the rose and the germini. So we're going to place these and these I don't mind sticking out further because they're airy and they don't. Now if I place the rose up here, it'd be very noticeable because these are wispy and airy and they have movement. They're, you know, they're not as noticeable as the bigger flowers. I'm a true believer of adding smaller flowers with bigger flowers. It balances it out. It's more pleasing to the eye. I'm working blind here, so I'm hoping it's in the same position. Let's bring it forward a little bit. Yeah. Do I bring? I'm going to bring one behind the germini at the top on the neck. That one's going to slightly be, again, a little bit taller. But it adds to the backdrop for the germini. So now I've placed that in between the rose here and it's there. I'm going to bring this one down. I don't want another one here. I don't want to overpower it with them. So I'm going to bring this one down a step and place it just around here. So it's not too much. As as I love them, I don't want to, you know, make it look like I've just focused around the edge and placed too many in for the arrangement. You need to spread them and give them space. It's what we used to say when we did real flowers, let them breathe. Again, many, many years ago. But I'm a true believer of that as well. Unless you're doing, again, an arrangement that's a compact arrangement, you know, and it's really compact. When it's something like this, you know, let the flowers breathe. And I mean by that breathe is give them space in between each other. Just and then I want one more at the bottom, which will go in between, like at the top, the foliage and our germini. And again, I would place this at a vertical position. So it'll be behind the germini, just enough that you can see them, not too much. Again, they're airy, they're not a focal point, so you don't need too many. That makes sense. So doesn't that look pretty already? So now we're going to get our ranunculus, again, one of my favourite flowers. So, and I adore them. So how many have I got out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh. So with these, you see the white here. I want to be bringing in some pink around here. I don't want it just white, pink, white, white. I want to bring that pink in. We need, and having a little cluster of them will take some of that room up. So we're going to need one there. Definitely, if I can just push it here in or through around here, guys. I'm just placing them for now. They are different tones slightly, but they came in the same bunch. Again, I can't see, but they may not be the same height. I'm just positioning them. See, there's a pink there. No, I don't like the thought of that being there. That one down in between, and then I could place in either Queen Anne's lace. I'll just grab one. Oops, it's come off the stem. Let's get it back on. Just to see what it's like with the Queen Anne's lace, or maybe the berries. That's pretty. Now let me just try the berries. Instead. I like them both. Maybe it's the Queen Anne's lace with it being broader. I could bring some of the berries around the side. So we definitely want 2 up here on the shoulders. And I'm bringing them slightly higher than the rose and slightly lower, if you can see, than the germini here. And that's how I'm placing them. You can bring the head forward slightly, but I will be placing something in front. Just get the tail end. So I've placed the ones on the top. I'm not so sure about bringing one up here. It's just going to make it higher. So I'll have a think about that one. I'm going to place 2 in at the side of the gem. Just around here in between the white and pink, the white germini and the pink rose. And one on the opposite. So I'm just gonna so that's that, and then one under the gem as well. Again, the way I'm positioning them, I'm not going in like that. I'm going vertical when I do the ones here, and by going vertical they will sit downwards. And then I'm going to go one here as well. I can get it in between the white germinis. Yeah, I think I'll spread that one like that. Just slightly lift it. Do I bring? Let's just have a quick look, guys. Why do I feel I want one there? I'm going to place one in there, right above the bow, under the rose. So I've got one leaning in towards the bow. And then I've got 2. I'm going to bring these down here, each side of our germini at the bottom, like I did up at the top. So again, I'm going in vertical, but I'm not getting them, they're not going to be longer than the germini. So I've placed those at each side of the germini here, and shorter, put slightly longer than the rose. Now, because we've got pink and pink, I want to break that up with a bit of white. So let me get the Queen Anne's lace. I don't want to overload this. I want it to be quite simple. I don't know how many I've got on picks. Is that one? Yeah. I don't know, I can't see anymore. Oh, found one there. So let's have a look. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6. So I'm wanting to place one definitely there. So let's get that one in. And we'll place that one again. I'm placing the stem vertical so the Queen Anne's lace hangs downwards. If you place it in like, you know, this way in, going straight in, then you have to bend it. The easier way to make it look like it's bent, it's facing downwards, is just place it vertical, and that applies same in a wreath as well, or even in any arrangement you do. If you've got foam and you want your flower to be hanging down, you just place it in at a vertical, you know, a slight little bit like that, you know, where, as you can see, it's at an angle, but you go up vertical. And then your flower will just droop down and sit lovely there. So let's just have another look. So I definitely want one here. So I'm going to place that there. I definitely want one here. I'll just place them for now. I definitely want one. I think I'm going to place one in here. We'll see. Let me see on the other side if it's better up above. Oh, a bit of both, really. So I may place them up there as well. I need some there. So let's cut that. I love Queen Anne's lace. So why do I think? In fact, I think I'll bring that one just down here under the bow. Let's get another one. Bring that on there. And then that one. There. Do I need any at the bottom? I'm not going to cut one. I'm just going to see. Yeah, let's get one at the bottom. Right at the bottom. And then I may want one at the top. So I don't need any more of those. I may not even put the berries in, because there's lots of white. So I'm going to turn this around and show you what I've done with this. Now this can go where the foliage is at the bottom, and that can go where the foliage is at the top. Okay. So as you will see this, I have gone and placed in the Queen Anne's lace all around where the floral is. So I've gone up here, here where the ranunculus is, either side, here where the roses are and the ranunculus, then here between the germini and the rose, here where the germini and the ranunculus is. This is either side, and then one right at the bottom with the germini. So I've done that, so it's covering all around, and that's fitting in beautiful. So I may not even add in our berries. So we'll just get those out of the way, because I have got these, because there's a lot of white, I'm going to bring these on the outside instead of the berries. So that would look really pretty to do it that way as well. Again, you don't have to really overload your swags. Oh, hi, hun. Thank you. You don't have to overload the swags. You can have them as minimal as you like, but just looking beautiful. So what we're going to do, we're going to start placing these in. Let's put an angle on that. And as you go along, again, as I stated from the beginning, you can now start sticking your stems onto other stems that you have in. They don't have to be placed on to the main spine at the back, because you have built up, you know, several layers of stems through placing other things in, so you can easily attach to those. That's one. Don't like how that's sitting, so let's take that off. And always check if they've come out through your stems at the back. If they have, then you either chop them shorter or take them out and reposition them or replace them with the shorter stem by just chopping the stem smaller and placing them back in. Did I put that one in? I can't remember. So I want to go at like a 45-degree angle here. And then here as well. Just then let me just do this side. Just slightly under the bow. And then here as well. I must admit, I do like Queen Anne's lace. I find it a very romantic floral, especially for weddings. Very pretty. Now in the UK, we have something that grows wild and looks very much like Queen Anne's lace called cow parsley. You get it, you know, anywhere. You know, you could be driving on a street, on a lane, you know, a country lane or anything like that, and there are in abundance at the side of the road, you know, on the grass verge. They are everywhere, and I love them. You can even buy the plant, you know, and grow the plant yourself. But they just look, you know, very, very similar to the Queen Anne's lace. You wouldn't, if you didn't know, you know, about florals or anything like that, then, oh, I found a germini on the floor. Where's that come from? Spare one. If you didn't know about floral, you wouldn't, know. But obviously, all of us, we have an interest in floral. But I can't get that on. What's that? But yes, they are beautiful. It's the wrong one. And we see them everywhere. So for those people who live in the UK, they'll know what I mean. They're all along the country road. You sometimes see them in the rural areas as well. So that's that. So that's all our Queen Anne's lace placed in. So now we're going to use this. I don't think we're going to need anything else. I'm not going to put the eucalyptus in. So where you see things like this, where you see more green here, this is where I'm going to be incorporating the pink. I've left these till, last, because these are what I wanted to see, where, adding them in. So it doesn't look like you've got like a picture frame around your floral. So by adding in some floral on the top of the foliage that's sticking out, again, like here, you just see foliage. By adding a little bit of wispiness or, something like that in front of it, you're covering the foliage, so you're bringing colour onto the foliage, if that makes sense. Because I don't want it to be like, if I remove that, like I've got a ring of foliage around the edge. So I want to bring colour into it, so then what's on the front here is blending in with the side. And we've only got white colour with the foliage at the moment, and our theme is pink and white. So if we have white here, we then need to be bringing a bit of pink on the sides as well. So then the theme of the pink and white is not just here, it's all around the sides, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to turn it, and because I can see a gap right up here, I want to place one there. It will be at a taller position. It keeps dropping, but I will place it slightly taller and on the opposite side of it. Again, bringing colour. So now where I just look, where there's a bit of greenery and nothing there, no colour. Excuse me, that's where I'm going to bring the pink in. So if I can just, I can't get it in without forcing it in. It was somewhere around there. Again, I'm just doing my placement first. And you'll see what I mean by adding the pink in. What it's done to the outer edge. something along them lines. Obviously when I do put it in, it will be more, you know, balanced. It's just I'm leaning some of them on other stems. But as you can see now, I brought the pink on the outer side around our arrangement. And doesn't that blend in fabulous? So it's like if I did something and it was in yellows, purples and blues, then I would bring yellow, purple and blue floral, even if it was tiny like this. You know, I tend to prefer to place smaller floral around the sides. You don't want something like a great big rose on the side and then have something like this mini calla lily in the centre. That would really look odd. It wouldn't look balanced. So I bring wispy flowers around the edge, you know, and then at least you've got some floral, and have the focal flowers around the centre as you look straight at it. And if you didn't have a gem or anything, just carry out that theme by bringing some more ranunculus and germinis in, and Queen Anne's lace. Bring some more of those in, you know, in replace of this gem. And also if you didn't want a bow, do the same. Bring the same germinis, roses and ranunculus around where the bow area is as well. That's if you're using them flowers. If you're using other type of flowers, it's the same principle. So let's get these in. And again, I'm doing the same with the, you know, with the positioning of the stem. I'm going upwards and I'm leaning it on the floral or on the foliage. I'm not pushing it in to, you know, go and sit with the floral. I'm pushing it in where it's just sitting on top of the foliage. Because I don't want this sitting all here, because it's a rough texture and I've used the Queen Anne's lace for my rough texture on the top. I'm not saying you have to use the rough texture here as well, but that's just a choice that I made, that I'd like to use it. Let's just bring it out a little bit further. Not attaching. Again, and with this I'm bringing this out wider as I go up to the shoulders, so it's, you know, showing that beautiful teardrop shape. I will show you guys. Let me get some glue. And then our final 2 pieces right at the top, filling in that little gap. At the top. So we could easily, again, if we wanted, I do have the lotus head leaves, the flowering lotus. Oh, I've just snapped the band. Now, we could add the odd one of these in or around the side, just to give off a little bit more of an extra interest. Oh, let me just have the coffee. Or we could also incorporate the berries. But because we've got a big cluster of white, with the Queen Anne's lace being a big head, and the calla lilies, and then the germinis, and then we've got big pink, we would, I think, either need a foliage or let's see, maybe some astilbe or something like that. But with us having astilbe, we've got this already in, so you could then start to think, well, I may want to incorporate another floral. So you have to sort of like look at what colour you've got more of in the arrangement. So like if there's more white, then you know you need to go for a pink, if that makes sense. So again, around here it's bothering me, you know, I can see the spruce here, so I feel I need something around the jewel there. So hence the reason, let's just say, because we've got white there, I don't know, that doesn't sit well with me. So it would either be bring a bit of foliage in, which I have an idea this would be preferably better because it's a lighter foliage. Yeah, I can see it immediately by bringing that, just that little bit of different foliage in. So let's get, because I don't want no more white. I've got some of these and tarragon in here as well. I didn't realise. Gosh, how many? 3. Could I add those on around the side? 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, 4. Oh gosh, 5. Oh, I've just pulled one off, but 6. Oh, let me take the band off. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11. I may use, I don't want the berries. I'll put those back in my leftover box. So I don't want those. I'm going to use the sage leaves as well to scatter a bit of light foliage around on the top. So we'll put those in the leftover bucket. I don't want the flowering lotus, so they can go back in my, well, they'll have to go in the leftover bucket now. So we'll place those in. As well. So we're going to use the tarragon, and because I don't need long stems, they are quite short. I don't know, I can't remember what there was for. I've probably had them in there quite a while, guys. Well, I don't know, we may need it for the tarragon. We may need it for the tarragon, so I may need to change those. But for our sage leaves, I haven't got many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, because if you can see, there's the bit there. I don't need that long. And it's just, it's empty. Even though we've got the ranunculus below, it's still empty. Because we've got the Queen Anne's lace here between those. I've got nothing between the jewel and there. So instead of placing another floral, add a little bit of foliage. And again, then, you know, just something with small leaves like this, even if it's boxwood, anything like that. And then just place those in and around. It's like here as well. If I just move that there, there's nothing here, and that's bothering me. Now to fill that space, I want something there, and it will be exactly the same on the opposite side. There's a gap right here at my side, so I could easily just put a bit of foliage in to blend in with the floral around, and the same right at the top of the gem. There's nothing under the bow. So to bring something, if I can push it through, just bring a little bit of foliage. So it's like you've framed the gem. So I've got 3 left. So I may place, let's have a look here. I mean, I can't see, I'm just assuming. I'm going in blind here, but that might fill the bottom there. Place one there. Let me just turn it around. I may not like that. No, that's not right. For some reason, I need something here. Here above the germinis, just above the germinis. Let's have a look, and then here. Spotted it immediately above the bow this time. Bring a little bit of, just there. I've broken up the 2 pinks that are together. I like to break up the colour if you've got too much of it next to each other. Now that one's all right because it's got the foliage from the ranunculus breaking it up. But here, it didn't have nothing breaking it up. So I've placed that there. So that's what I'm going to do now with the sage leaves. And then with these, I'm going to just bring and maybe dot those around if I see any gaps around the edge. And with it being the texture of like the lamb's ear, that will soften it, make it look, you know, really pretty. Oops. Oh, let's glue that on. And then that should be it. I don't want to, again, overdo it. So I'm going to cut these stems quite short. Just go slightly up. Like so. Again, I don't need them long. I'm cutting the stems to about 2.5 inches. Because I'm using them, I want them as depth. I don't know whether I put that one in the right place then. Let's have a look. No, I didn't. So let's move that one back out and place it where it should have gone. There. So see. And I always am a true believer to incorporate your bow, you know, bring a bit of floral and foliage within it, you know, even if it's just cutting a little bit of a flower off of a stem, you know, a small flower. Do that, you know, it will make a heck of a difference. So that's those in. So now I've got those in, I'm going to go around looking for some gaps for the tarragon. But before I do that, I'm going to place them on longer stems in case I need the length. I can't believe I've got this. I just was focused on these sage leaves. I didn't realise these were embedded within the berries and the sage leaves. Right, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right. 6. So I'm going to use these for the, again, the length. I may cut them down shorter as I get down to the bottom, the stem. Oops, I nearly placed that in there. If you're wondering where Benji is, guys, you know, I've been busy today. I've taken him for 2 walks. I haven't neglected him, but I've had to take him home after because I've had a lot on, and he was, you know, getting in my way. So I decided to take him. And when I say home, I mean he literally lives across the road, and straight opposite my house. So I've taken him home, given him a treat and that, and water, biscuits. He's, you know, he's got food out, so he doesn't go hungry. His owner will be home about 15 minutes anyway. Because it is late today. Because I've been busy, so it's not that I'm having Benji every day anyway, you know. So, right, let me just cut the ends off. I don't want them that long. Right, so what I'm going to do now, oh, let me drink this. My hubby's made it me. Is go around the sides, because I can see a gap there. So if you can see this, then everybody else is going to see it. So just to fill in that little gap, even if it's a thin piece, it puts something there that will, you know, people will realise, you know, there's something there. It's not gappy or gapy, however you pronounce it. We call it, well, some people say gapy or gap. I say gappy. It's just the way where I come from. Some people say the way I talk is weird. I'm definitely going to be bringing some up above. So first of all, let's get some right above. And I'm just going to go straight in and sit it there amongst the calla lilies and the germini. And there's a slight gap there I wanted to fill in as well. I'm going to bring one at the side of our bow, just to fill that little area. I'll do it on the opposite side. I want one around here. Now I want one at the back, definitely at the back. So I'm going to go in there just to fill that little gap. So I'll do it on the opposite side also, because I want it to be balanced. And there's one here. Do the same. You don't have to do the same. You could just place something where you feel it's got a little bit of a gap, you know, and it just looks slightly odd by its, you know. I do that sometimes as well. I will show you when I've done. I'm not just bringing them on the outer side, I am bringing some on the inside. I'm going to bring one right at the bottom, right under the ranunculus and everything. There. So there we have it. So that is our project for today completed. So this, I would say, is more of a spring summer wreath. Again, you don't have to have your ribbons like that. You can, you know, give them the bend them over at the bottom if you want the ringlets where your dovetails are, and then just keep swirling them up to the top, and then where your dovetails are in the side, grab the dovetail and just pull it out steady. So nice like that. You can do it like that and just have them like that, or you can just have them how I've done, and just have them long. I like the ringlets, if I'm being quite honest. I really do like the ringlets. Just grab the dovetail, bring that there.
Hello?
Hello?
Got a parcel for you. Do you want me to just leave it at the gate door?
Yes, please.
Shed door, should I say?
Or you could bring it here, I don't mind.
Oh, right, okay. That's your little crafty room,
Yes,
is it?
yes, it is. For my work.
Very good. Delivered hand is your customer, and that's excellent. Thank you.
Lovely, darling.
Right.
Thank you. Take care. We've got some lovely posters. So there you have your swag with the ringlets instead. If you're wanting to see the gem, you know, then, and you've got tail ends, then play, you know, either bring your tail ends through all your floral and foliage, so they're going, you know, you've weaved them in, or do what I've done and place ringlets so you can still get to see the gem. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and I hope the lady who requested it, you know, it's inspired her and given her some ideas on what to do for a swag, for a summer swag. It looks quite like a wedding thing, don't it, really? But hey, it could be used as a wedding swag, you know, on the entrance of the door. Yes, if you know, you enjoyed it, again, whatever other colours you wish to use, you don't always have to use the exact foliage that I've used. If you know, instead of the Ruscus, you wish to use eucalyptus, you know, the silver dollar, or ficus, or, you know, maybe shikibi, or just fern, or all sorts, guys, all sorts. Oak leaves, whichever, really, whichever, you know. And then if you haven't got the calla lilies like that, but you've got little roses, you know, like this, or daisies, use those instead, you know. And if you've not got these, then use something like astilbe, you know, anything like that. If you've not got tarragon, use boxwood, you know, things like that. And again, if you've not got the germinis, and you've got big gerberas, the bigger heads, use the bigger heads instead of like I have with the roses. And then instead of the roses, use smaller roses instead. Swap the size around and do it that way instead. And again, if you've not got any ranunculus, what could you use? You could use little rosebuds or little baby carnations, you know, or chrysanthemums. Anything really. I've got that much here. Or little baby peonies, you know, things like that. Or you could use your peony as your main big head on your swag. But yes, there's lots and lots of different things, you know, and in different colours, whether it be in whites, pinks, blues, purples, yellows, reds, you know, whichever, guys. I'm sure you could do it and it would look fabulous. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope if you feel confident, which I guess you all are by now, to give it a go, you know, give it a go, guys, and have a great time doing it, and to have fun. And always remember the principle: neck, shoulders, ribs, waist. And the shoulders are always the widest point. And then you come in, you stagger it in till you get to that point. That's what creates that teardrop shape. So if you start with your foliage at the back, and choose which backdrop foliage you'd like to use to create your line of that teardrop. Once you've created your line, all your fabulous flowers and everything will sit in front of that, and then just add a few little wispy bits on the side, whether it's twiggy bits, whether it's a little florals, it doesn't matter. And just again, always remember the flower above comes out more than the flower below. And then when you put another flower under that one, that flower comes out more than the one below that one. And that's how you stagger it in. And you do that on both sides. So I hope that helped. Have a wonderful day. Please subscribe, share and like to your work, to the world, to your family, to whomever, guys. Excuse me. So I've got another chest infection. I keep getting them. My son's got the cold again and he's giving it me. So to whomever again, guys, you know, just let them know that we do some beautiful floral arrangements, and it may inspire them to give it a go, or, you know, if they feel confident enough to give it a go, which I'm sure they are, you know, have fun with it, or just come and sit along and just watch. You know, as long as you're here and it, you know, you're enjoying it, that's all that counts. So have a grand day, guys. Take care. Keep your comments coming. I won't be here tomorrow because Friday, oh, I've got a busy day tomorrow. I've got to do, I've got my choir concert on Saturday, and they've asked me to do the flowers. So I've got to go and, you know, collect all the flowers. I've got to get them fed because they're real flowers. And then I've obviously got to have them, take all the thorns off because there's a lot of roses. Take the thorns off, feed them, make sure, you know, that they're fed well. And then obviously I have to arrange them, so for the concert. So I'm very, very busy tomorrow. So I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Take care, guys. All the best. I love you loads. And I'll see you on Monday. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Let's go and have a closer look, guys. Because the video was shot quite far away. Oops, I've got the cable stuck. There's our beautiful, beautiful pink roses on the top with our fabulous ranunculus. Oh, I don't like petals sticking out. I'm very fussy. With our ranunculus, our lovely germini, and our Queen Anne's lace with our sage leaf. We've got our little tarragon here, our ruscus there, and our other ruscus, the plastic one but with smaller leaves here. Again, our calla lilies at the back, our beautiful fern with the pink tips. I don't know if you can see because my hand's in the way, with pink on the tips as well. And then these, they do look a bit like astilbe, but I'm sure they're, I don't know, they're not lavender. I know they're not lavender because if you look at the leaves, lavender leaves are really thin. And oh, and our gem. There's our gem sat in the middle, and then our beautiful bow in cerise. And I've used cerise to give it a pop of colour, to bring it out. And then obviously I used the vintage flower ribbon to, you know, blend in with the colour and the flowers that I was using. So again, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. You know, have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye for now.